Hey everyone, it's Even Mega Jono. So there's a lot of Pokemon tournaments going around recently, and a lot of them are leading up to the international tournament in Washington DC later this year, or August. Um, so there have been a lot of countries around the world that have been holding their national competitions recently, and Australia is about to host their national comp in Melbourne in July. So I'm basically making this video to help everybody out there who is having a little bit of trouble with making a team or something like that. I'll help you with just coming up with strategies and things like that. It's not as difficult as it looks. I'm not really going to be going over how to get IVs or EVs in this video, really, because there's like other videos out there that can tell you how to do that, or you can look it up on Google or something like that. It really is not that difficult to get your head around anyway. This is just a strategy video. It's not really a how to do this video. The number one thing I just want to stress is think outside the box. Don't use sites like Smogon and things like that. Smogon is useless, okay? The meta that Smogon has introduced to the game is honestly their idea. It's nothing that Game Freak or Nintendo have ever said in regards to the meta of the game. Using Smogon seriously is like wasting your time because they view the game in the way they want to view it. They only give you movesets and stats so that you can't come up with an idea that will beat theirs, because they think they are the elite of Pokemon. And if they give out ideas that they know can beat their ideas, then they won't think of themselves as, the elite gods of Pokemon anymore. I'm not trying to make myself sound like an elitist, but I've been doing this for, 7.5 years now, so I think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to strategizing in competitive Pokemon. And I know Smogon has been around for a while, but like I said, that Smogon is basically just filled with elitists that think they know what they're talking about because they want to be able to win. These tier lists and things like that they come up with, it's all garbage. It's absolute rubbish, because you can look at their never used tier list or underused tier list or whatever, and there are Pokemon in there that can utterly destroy Ubers. Yet they give the Ubers, statistic to legendary Pokemon in most cases, and they call things like Speed Boost Blaziken overpowered when there is so many ways around that. For example, the move Faint. I bet they didn't remember that move. But yeah, anyway, just completely ignore Smogon. It is completely useless. Like I said, I'm just gonna go back to thinking outside the box. I guess we'll probably be bouncing back to Smogon a lot in this video. I'm going to try not to make this video too long because there's only so much people can pay attention to. But the basic idea that Smogon has is that you have... Okay, so in Pokemon you have 508 EVs you can give now. It used to be 510, now it's 508 to make things more even. Well, no, they still have 510, sorry. It's just that you can't give 255 EVs to anything anymore. Because 5 is an odd number and you need 4 EVs to go up one stat. Okay, whatever, you get that. So you can only max the Pokemon stat out to 252. You could only do that initially anyway. But the basic idea of Smogon is they have, like, for example, if you go and look on... I'm just throwing this as an example, like Frostlast's page, it'll be like 252 EVs in HP and 252 in speed. Why? That's not 100% necessary. You can use the stats of other Pokemon to... Well, the stats on that Pokemon to make it more buff or more like a tank, or something like that. Like, for example, Snorlax. Snorlax has a really good special defense stat as well as a very good HP stat. But the thing that people do the most in Pokemon, and it really, really bugs me, is that they take the best stat and make it even better. You don't need to do that. The stat is naturally good anyway. You can have a very good special defense on Snorlax without investing any EVs in it at all, and it'll still be about 280, 290-ish. Why not make it more of a tank by investing more defense EVs and IVs in the Snorlax, right? If you give it full HP EVs, 252 HP EVs, right? Invest more defense EVs in Snorlax, which will give it more of a tankish sort of feel to it, and then just deposit the leftovers into the special defense. You don't always need to do 252 EVs in every stat. You can have 120, 84, whatever you want in there, as long as it's a multiple of 4, by the way. You can have whatever you want in there. You can have like 116 in special defense and 120 in defense and 252 in HP and, I don't know, the last 14 or whatever it is. I lost count of my math. In speed. Whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. Don't listen to what Smogon says. Smogon want you to be crap. They don't want to be beaten. That's what I'm trying to say. If you think outside the box, you will defeat Smogon. You can use a bottom tier Pokemon to defeat an overused Pokemon, as they call it. This tier listing is garbage. Don't listen to it. Because if I listened to Smogon's tier listing crap, then I would be probably the worst battler in history. I'm not saying people from Smogon are bad battlers. They obviously know what they're talking about. But that's the thing. You never trust someone who thinks they know everything. Because they don't. Right? You trust someone who can think outside the box for you. You know? The things that they have on Smogon, yeah, it's fantastic for beginners, I guess. But that's the thing. They don't want you to go any further than being a beginner because everything they have on there is a beginner's strategy. A 5-year-old could come up with the crap they come up on there. But if you go on just simple sites like Bulbapedia and search up, I don't know, Snorlax. Let's have a look at Snorlax here. Have a look at its abilities. You need to get to know the abilities of these Pokemon, the typing of their Pokemon. Have a look at their abilities. Have a look at their hidden abilities. Their egg groups. Everything you need to know about it. Scroll down a little bit. Have a look at its stats. You know, work your way around its stats. Scroll down a little bit more. You see its type effectiveness and all that kind of stuff. Scroll down even further. You see what moves it learns. What it can learn through TMs, what it can learn through breeding. This is this kind of stuff that Smogon hides away. They hide it away in different links. You can click on it, yes, but the thing is, the link is that small that you don't even really pay attention to it anyway. You scroll down, you look at the strategy. And they just, they this video has basically just become a Smogon rant video. Yeah, look, all I'm saying is just think outside the box, you know, look at other, for example, the move Cotton Guard that Kotoni can learn, right? That move raises your defense by 3 stages. It's the only move that does that. It's the only move that raises anything by 3 stages. Smogon don't tell you that. There's Cotton Guard is such a good move, but they don't really let it be shown on these sites. A 3-stage boost in defense? Who would not want that? And I want to stress this as well. Baton Pass is literally the most underrated move in history. Just because a Pokemon stat is so bad does not mean they always have to be bad. Baton Pass passes on any stat changes that you made. So if I raise my attack 2 stages and my speed 2 stages, I can use Baton Pass and put it onto Snorlax. Suddenly Snorlax is twice as fast as it already was. Almost 3 times as fast as it already was. If its speed is 150, all of a sudden your Snorlax has a speed of like 330 odd, and it's outspeeding almost everything in the overused tier that Smogon call. You know, just because a Pokemon has crap stats, it does not mean that it must always live with those stats. That's the whole idea of stat boosting moves. That's the whole idea of building a team. Smogon give off the idea that a team is built around one Pokemon. It really is not. It's called a team for a reason. You use the 6 with each other to defeat your opponent. Alright? Moving on from the Smogon thing, really the battling just depends on what your kind of battling is like. You can have, like, you know, 5 sweepers and a tank. You can have 5 tanks and a sweeper. You can have a few stallers and a couple of sweepers and a tank. It really is up to you. But what I'm trying to say is, think outside the box a little bit. Because believe me, when you think outside the box, all of a sudden, things will start lighting up for you. It's like, oh, I can use Blissey really well with a Pokemon that has a high defense stat. Use Baton Pass with a Pokemon that has a high defense stat and can raise its defense, and then throw that on the Blissey. Suddenly Blissey becomes a little bit harder to take out because Blissey's defense is already really crap. So how can you work with getting Blissey's defense even higher than it already, it's already crap anyway. Like, it averages about 40, which is really bad. But if you can get like a 2 or a 3 stage boost in defense from something like, I'm just throwing it as an example, like a Golem, and if it could learn Baton Pass, then you could transfer that over to Blissey. All of a sudden, Blissey has a defense of about 250, 260 odd, even more, probably about 280, 290, and it becomes a little bit harder to take out. These are the kind of things you need to look at. Just because a Pokemon has one bad stat, it does not mean that it's a crap Pokemon. And that's the thing that Smogon really, they deliver that. I'm not personally a fan of a Pokemon like Love Disc, but I'm just using that as an example. They kind of give Love Disc the shaft. They basically say, don't use it, you will lose. That's not really the case. Love Disc already has a really good speed stat, which you can seriously utilize without boosting it at all. And all you need is just a couple of special attack boosts from a Pokemon, then Baton Pass, and suddenly Love Disc is a sweeper? Like, they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that, oh, you can use Baton Pass to make this Pokemon good, but other than that, it's kind of crap anyway. They don't tell you that. They just say, it's bad. Don't use it. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to get somewhere in these competitions over the next few months, you got to think yourself. If you use Smogon, then you're not going to get anywhere. Alright? I'm here for help. If any of you guys need any help at all, I will be here. You can message me on YouTube. You can tweet me on Twitter. You can do whatever the hell you want. I'll be able to help you out because, like I said, I've been competitive battling since basically Diamond and Pearl, and yeah, I kind of pride myself in my competitive knowledge. All right, so yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Just remember to think outside the box a little bit. All right, see you guys next time.